Hello all and welcome back. Now we're going to get straight into it because no one likes the fluff, but it's David here from the QS guys. Just wanted to do a breakdown on how much a house extension cost is in 2026. Now we price jobs for builders all over the UK, and now I've got a recent job as a basic example, but what I wanted to do was pull up a bit of a slide doc and go through some average costings of what we're seeing with house extension costs in 2026. Now, it is quite a competitive market. There's a lot of bloated costs in the industry. Builders are struggling to get jobs in, so costs are coming down a little bit for builders, but let's go through these slides and have a little look. And I've also got an example of a project here that we did recently. There was a utility room extension project and a loft conversion all wrapped up into one. This is a builder out in Essex, so we'll go through that as well, okay? So what we've got here, house extension costs. So the problem, 73% of extensions go over budget, no bill of quantities, zero cost control, so it is imperative that you get these costs correct up front, and you'd rather be over than under. Our job here at the QS guys is we make sure we're a little bit over rather than under, because we can always value engineer down. It's a lot harder to go into a project and ask for more money. Builders quotes missing key trades, foundation, structural steel, drainages. So this is drainage, sorry. So this is our job, is to go through every single job, provide markups, and look at how we can put the numbers, quantities, rates, which we are plugging in a lot of data for each builder's company, so we can make sure we can get the rates as accurate as possible. What we like to do is make sure that we're pricing the rates at retail rate. Then by the time the builder gets a margin on top, that's an additional contingency or allowance that they can take into their project, because we all know mistakes happen. Builders cut sheets of jib wrong, plywoods, etc. So there's always got to be an additional allowance. That is just the game we are playing. Back to the game here. So single story extension, 1,800 to 2,400 a square meter. That is roughly just based on a mid-range spec. Anything lower than 1,800, we're running into trouble, and I think people should be cost checking that, okay? So the cost elements here, foundations and groundworks, 8 to 12,000 pounds. Structure and roof, 15 to 22,000 pounds. So if we were going to go and look at that, that would be like this section here. Building out the flat roof, obviously the brick and block for the cavity wall sections on the outside, and getting it ready for windows and doors, external installs, okay? Finishes and fit out, 12 to 18,000 pounds. Prelims and contingency comes in at around about 15% for these jobs. As we can see here, this is a 15,000 section of prelims, that including the loft conversion as well. But the prelims always include those things like project management, initial site setup, health and safeties, vehicle allowances, site signages, one-time cost for setting up scaffolding and dismantling as well. 8-yard skips, grab lorry, muck away, so we always put quantities and items in there as well. And then the final clean on the back end of a project is critical. You can't leave these jobs in a state, so you've got to make sure that they look nice. And then a typical 30 square meter job would be anywhere between 55,000 and 72,000 pounds. That's roughly where we'd be sitting for a basic knock through and extension. Usually we break it out for the internal alteration section as well. There'll be some wall demolition on the inside, structural steel beam going in, and some touch-up works. Double story extension, you'd be prepared to pay anywhere between 2,000 and 2,800 pounds a square meter. Key cost considerations here: more complex foundations required, party wall considerations and surveyors fees. It could be anywhere between 1,500 and 2,500 pounds there. You'll have an internal staircase, structural steel for new openings to get up and into there. So take that into consideration. We always allow probably an additional 10 to 15% throughout the costings there, and additional floor finishes throughout, okay, as well as obviously the basic extension. Loft conversions, 35,000 to 75,000 pounds. Now we have a working sheet here for a loft conversion. So the way we start that is obviously with the structural works. Set up acro props, sites, scaffold platform, dismantle temporary support after steel's fixed, and then we go into our site ridge beams and purlins. As we can see, all of our materials laid out there, all of our labor components laid out there, so it's clean and easy to see. When the builder goes to tender, or he wants to back cost hours with his staff members, it's very simple to have these hours allocated here, and they can literally just have like an actuals column in there, and they can back cost that at the end of every single day. A basic loft conversion, Velux basic, 20 to 30,000 pounds. Anything with a dormer, 35 to 55,000 pounds. Hip to gable, 45 to 65,000 pounds. Obviously, we're getting a little bit more complex here. And a mansard, 55 to 75,000 pounds, okay? So it's just making sure that when you are getting quantities off your builder or your homeowners, you're making sure that you are getting as much information here as you can. The more data you can have, the better. Like we see here, when we provide insulation, we literally go down to material components, how many square meters, what the cost is, then the insulation hours to install for the floor, then the rafters. See, that's the amount of detail we go into. And then we're going down to kitchen extensions, anywhere between 40 to 65,000 pounds. Now, depending on the spec, obviously you can spend hundreds of thousands of pounds on a kitchen, but if you go mid-range and it's just like your standard pack kitchen, which you buy, and then that might be anywhere between 2.5 to 4,000 pounds, then someone to install, allow a day, 2 to 3 days worth of labor, or you can go high-end mid-spec like carpet, like timber finished kitchens. That's when you'll spend a lot of money. Okay. Bifold or sliding doors, 3,000 to 8,000 pounds. That includes install as well. Underfloor heating, 2.5 to 4,000. Structural beams going in, 2,000 to 5,000 pounds. So BOQ, your project's financial blueprint. Obviously, you've got drawings, takeoff, bill of quantities, get a fixed price, and then you've got no surprises. Okay, so we always step in as the QS to make sure that the builder is getting an honest, hard set of costs. Like I say, they love seeing when we've got every single line item set of costings here on these projects, and we break every project out. So we've got a trade summary page, then we've got a preliminaries page, which is all the stuff that is not labor and not materials. Then we break out the loft conversion, then the utility room. So the reason why we do this is so when a client, if they don't want to go one section, they can simply take that out. And when we have our sections in the front here, that's how we lay it out, okay? So there we go. That's pretty much that section there. Cost per square meter, 2026 benchmarks. Basic single story extension, 1,800 squares, 1,800 a square to 2.2. Mid-spec extension, 2.2 to 2.5. High spec, 2.8 to 3.5 thousand pounds a square meter if you're just in the preliminary feasibility stage. New build standard, 2,500 to 3,000 a square. Made another YouTube video on that. I'll link this in the video. And then a loft conversion, anywhere between 1,200 and 1,800 a square meter, okay? Traditional QS, 2 to 4 week turnaround time frame. We do anywhere between 48 hours to 3 to 4 days. And our fees start from $199, okay? So we've obviously pricing 45 jobs a week. We're doing a lot of work. We've got a lot of data, and we're doing a lot of this stuff. So we've got a lot of clients that are pushing out a lot of these jobs, and we're always doing our absolute best to make sure we know if the jobs are going ahead or if they're not. And if they are, we like to know what cost they round that out and if we can be involved in back costing, which we do for clients. So if you're looking for an extension, I hope you guys found this valuable. If you're a homeowner, builder, and you want to work with a QS, we've got 30 5-star Google reviews. We love doing breakdowns. We pick up the phone, we quote fast, we price fast, and we make variations if we need to. Thank you very much. Leave a comment below. Have you recently extended? What square meter rate was your project?